And welcome back to the show. Of course, COVER1 is touring the Concho Valley we have for the last few weeks, and now we are with head coach of the Christoval Cougars, Coach Otho. Of course, we are also joined with the COVER1 crew of Ryan Chadwick and James Bellini. Guys, what's going on?
Oh,
Same.
happy to be here.
Yeah, football's getting a little closer.
Football's
Coach,
getting close.
Coach, how about you? You ready for football to get started?
I was never ready for it to end.
There you go. All right, well, we'll get right into it. Coach, I'll give you the opening thought. What's been on your mind this summer or moving into the football season?
The main thing is, at the 2A level and stuff like that, we have to make adjustments and, take our offense, our defense, and adjust those to the kind of players we have. So that's what we've been doing this whole offseason, this whole summer, is seeing what's the best thing for us, the best thing for our players, the best way for us to win games.
All right, Coach, how has your off-season program gone so far? Have you had good attendance out there? How's it looking as far as, are you excited by all the people who've been showing up at summer workouts?
Yeah, it's been a good show. We've got a lot of young kids, which is exciting. We got a lot of junior high kids that just are excited about being a part of the program, things like that. So, it's a good deal. Those guys get to come in there, work out with the older kids, learn our system, learn our weight room program, do all our off-season stuff like that. It's been fun.
And Coach, building off of kind of your opening statement there, how difficult is it as a coach to be that flexible year in, year out? Because you said you kind of have to mold your scheme to fit the guys that are available. And I know Christoval's growing, but is it hard to keep a system in place when you might not have the caliber of athlete you had last year, or they might be better at something else, to change it every single year like that?
Well, I don't think it's unique to Christoval. I think it's kind of one of those things where, we're not at the college level where we can recruit kids to do what we want them to do. Whatever kid shows up in the program, we've got to make sure that whatever we do is best fits them, whether it be a run, pass, anything like that. We've got to make sure that, what skill set do they have, and that's kind of what we mold our offense around.
And I know, just keeping going on that, you lost a lot of players this last year, but that's nothing new. But we did lose some pretty big names, of course, on our COVER1 All-Star team. Of course, we had Salinas at offensive line, and some more. We had let's see, Brock Ratliff. Losing some of those big offensive linemen. What are we looking like up front? Are we going to have a year where we're going to maybe have a little trouble running the ball, or do you think y'all are going to rebuild that pretty good this year?
No. So you talk about Brock and Sebastian and these guys, they all started as freshmen, and that's what we have again. So I'm really excited about the future. I'm really excited about next season. It's not one of those things where we plug and play. We take kids that are young and we let them play, we develop them, and then by the time, like you said, they're seniors, we have those all-state, those all COVER1, we have those kind of players, and we're excited about that. And actually, up front, we're going to average, I'd say, about 250, 260 up front, which will be one of the bigger lines we've had in a long time.
Yeah, that's a 270 2A offensive line is, that's pretty big, I would say.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's
there's
just,
some 6'4", 5', 6'8". Like, I guarantee you Lakeview may not average 270 this year. That's a big number. Those are some big boys.
No, it's a big number, and we're excited about it, and these guys are intelligent, and the most exciting part about it is, like I said, they're young, and they're not going away anytime soon.
All right, talking about some of your young guys, specifically Manu Riojas, he did a pretty good job spelling, catcher joiner last year. You got Ethan Bush in the defensive backfield, like Jake Edmonston. Talk about some of these, individual guys who you expect to teach these young guys and step up.
Yeah, Manuel's he's a great player. He's a good kid, and he's very intelligent. He's very smart. He's very dedicated. Ethan's the same way. And like I said, the most exciting part is they're just going to be juniors. So our program, is going to be solid coming up for the next couple of years. Our junior high programs are solid. So I'm very excited about these guys. They've come a long ways, and they're very dedicated to what we're trying to do.
And Coach, let's go into the skill positions for a minute. I'm a skill position guy. Of course, you were my running backs coach, one of my baseball coaches way back the day at Central. So just who are we looking at? Who's going to be the most dangerous person on your offense this year?
I don't know about dangerous wise. I think what we try to do is we try to give our skill kids the ball in space. We try to spread the ball around. Like I said, Manuel's going to be a big one. Jake Edmondson's going to be a big one. Whoever's throwing it to him, we're gonna do a lot of good things. We got a lot of good receivers. We have one receiver that we were really looking forward to last year, and he got hurt in first scrimmage, and he didn't get to play the whole year. Josh McGimpsey. And he's really fast, and just nobody's ever seen him, and he's going to be back this year. So,
and I mean, we're talking about catching the ball, but somebody's got to throw it. Who's quarterback, Coach?
We got a competition going right now. I got a senior that's going to Kyle Abilez is going to be a senior, and I got Stanton McLaughlin who's going to be a junior. Those guys, they have different skill sets, so maybe a dual quarterback kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe playing like a little New Orleans Saints. You never know who may be throwing the football.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. I was talking about the defense. At the 2A level, you've got those offensive linemen, usually your defensive linemen. You have a lot of speed on defense, a lot of big guys up front. What are you going to change things up at all? How are you thinking the defense is going to be approached this year?
Well, our defensive coordinator, Coach Downey, does a great job. It's going to be mainly we got to replace a couple of defensive ends. Nikolai Nelson and Ketcha Joyner, they were our defensive ends, and they were both really, really good. One of them, Nikolai, was the defensive player of the year in the district. But we got guys that, it's just kind of one of them things. You sit back in the office and you're like, who's going to do this? Who's going to do this now? And you do that every year, and you end up developing a player. So sometimes you overthink things as a coach, and instead of just letting kids learn, develop, and go out there and do what they got to do.
I know we say this but everybody graduates players,
Right.
So it's no different. Everybody's doing the same thing y'all are doing, but that's good that you let people develop and let kids be themselves.
You just kind of gotta let things go and just see what happens.
Yeah, Nelson was on our first team, our first all COVER1 team, and it was between him and a couple of them Wall kids, and everybody knows. I think the whole state knows how well that Wall defense played last year. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only way you really get true experience is just playing football, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's this is pretty cliche, but it's not the name on the back, it's the name on the front, and of the jersey, and it's just if you're proud to be a Christoval Cougar, then you're gonna go out there and do what you gotta do.
And Coach, let's go ahead and move a little bit into the actual meat of the schedule there. Is there any particular game that these guys really are looking forward to playing? I know that some guys out in Sonora are ready to play y'all, and same with El Dorado as well. But is there a game specifically that y'all are looking at saying, this is the game we want?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that not every game is important and this and that, because it is, and 1 week at a time kind of thing. But we look at Mason, and they're a quality program across the state. They've been in it, year in, year out, and they got us last year. And I just want to go out there and give them a great game and fight with them, and I think that'll carry us into district. And of course Sonora's they're gonna be good this year. They're returning everybody. But we've been in that situation where we return everybody, and that bullseye's on your back, and that's kind of a hard tattoo to wear.
So in district, we already took care of Anthony and Ozona last year. But then you guys went out on kind of a bad taste. You dropped 4 straight games, and of course the last one to Holly, which is the state championship. Has that affected anything in the offseason? Has that been kind of a motivator, or I guess how did you address your athletes about maybe ending the season on a bad note?
Well, I wouldn't say we ended it on a bad note. There's never a season that you failed in. If, as long as you're growing, then you're successful, and that's what we did. We ended the season with Holly, and I distinctly remember, them guys. I knew that on paper, but I didn't know what it was going to be like on the field. And then at halftime, we go in there, and nobody's heads down. Our coaches are coaching. We're drawing stuff up. Nobody's giving up. Nobody's giving in, and our players are wanting to know what we got to do to get on the board. And just you take a step back as a coach, and you're like, man, this is buy-in. There's nobody saying, hey, what are we going to do tonight? What are we going to do? When's basketball start? Anything like that, They're wanting to go out there and get better.
Yeah.
And so when I say there's no such thing as a failure as a season, that's the honest truth. If you go out there and you have buy-in in the program, then that's successful to me.
Yeah, and you ended up getting to play the state champions, and you got to have a taste at it. So next year, say if you end up in that same spot where you're having to play one of these super teams in the very first 2-3 rounds, I mean, you guys could say that y'all are a little bit more prepared for it.
Yeah, it's always something like that. It always happens to where you play teams, whether it be basketball, baseball, football, whatever, that you learn from. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from what they've done. You see what other teams do to have that success, and you just kind of model yourself after that. It's kind of a copycat deal, and there's no shame in that.
I think last year when we called you and talked to you about the schedule release, we talked about Barton when y'all played Barton in Llano, and everybody knows that Barton had a playing ineligible player, and they had to forfeit so many games. They ended up still making it that last seed, and y'all ended up playing them. And you said you can look at that two ways. You're like, does that happen to you? Or that happened for you?
Right.
And you said a lot of those guys were taking it as this happened for us. This made us better.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the games I want to talk is the Anthony game. Are y'all going out to Anthony this year?
Yeah, we're gonna go out there. I think we're gonna play in San Francisco or something.
Right. I remember when I was out there with you, and when Coach Taylor was the head coach, we made that trip, and that was not.
It's
a heck of a trip.
Yeah,
it's
what
a
do you
heck
tell
of a
your-
trip
what do you
way
tell your
out there.
kids? Yeah.
How do you keep your kids in it at that point?
They look forward to that kind of stuff. They get a full day off of school. It excites them. They get to go out there. They get to go play football in an environment they've probably never even been in. A lot of these kids at Christoval, they don't leave a 200-mile radius. It's a different atmosphere for them. It's fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's a long ways. It's a long trip, but it all starts, July 31st. Your mental aspect of, is that bus ride. That bus ride shouldn't affect you by then. That's what I'm saying.
And do y'all stay in hotels, or y'all making that drive and trekking back?
No, so to be honest with you, I've driven to Fort Hancock myself, to Van Horn for baseball, Fort Hancock for baseball. So what we're gonna do, we usually charter a bus. We drive to Fort Stockton, eat some lunch. The bus driver changes in Fort Stockton.
Yeah.
The new guy drives out to Anthony. He sits on the bus after the game. He drives back to Fort Stockton. We pick up the first guy, and next bus driver trucks us back and get home about 7:38 in the morning.
There you go. Chatter.
Well, that being said, Coach, just tell us, is there a particular player that you have on this roster next year that might not be one of the guys who's going to make all the headlines, make all the flashy plays, might not even be on one of the skill positions, but is there a guy in particular that works harder than everybody else, really is becoming one of the leaders on the team, keeps everybody together, and really just shows out at practice?
I don't want to really say that there's one guy. There's a group of guys that all have the same mentality. There's 3 or 4 guys on the team that, this is what they want to do. You've got some guys, year in and year out in any program, you got guys that are dedicated to baseball and they play football. You got guys that are dedicated to basketball and they play football, and they're good players. But this group of guys, there's a lot of them that are dedicated to football that play other sports, and they're good at other sports too. It's kind of a unique situation, Like I said, there's 3 or 4 guys that, they always show up. They always are pushing other guys, and they're always trying to get better on their own. And it's just one of those unique things that comes in and out. And it's not like the guys last year weren't dedicated to football or anything. It's just from year to year things change.
All right, perfect. And then, of course, on Cover 1, we always end with a final question. So we'll each just ask one more question of you, Coach. I'll go ahead and start this thing. I just want to know a little bit about you. Where'd you go to college at? What was your first coaching job at? And what got you all the way to Christoval?
Man, that's a lot of stuff. That's a long time ago. I went to college. I played baseball at Wayland Baptist University for 4 years. My first coaching job was in Plainview High School. I was there for 3 years. Went to Mansfield, Timberview. We opened that school, first year of school there. They're pretty successful now. Then I came back to Central for 5 or 6 years, and then out to Christoval.
Nice. James?
You've been at Christoval for a while now. You've been the head coach there for a while. I mean, I remember when your kids were,
Yeah.
before they were in school. That's how long. I mean, what has the Christoval community meant to you? What have you learned about yourself coaching out there?
Man, it's one of those things where like I said, I haven't been a whole lot of places, but I've been to different environments. Plainview in the Panhandle, Mansfield out in Fort Worth, Arlington area, and then back here. And I grew up in at Greenwood High School. So getting back to this area, West Texas, Christoval it reminds me a lot of growing up. As far as everybody wants a winner and everybody's all in, from grandmother, grandfather, all the way down to your youngest sibling. They love it. It's Friday nights are unique. A lot of people say that, but it's just a different atmosphere. Like I said, I've been at the 6A level for 8-10 years of my coaching career, and you look up in the stands and you see people at the 6A level, and then at the 2A level you look up in the stands, you see family, and you see people that are engaged and cheering on their kids.
Chadwick?
Coach, just going to talk to you about baseball real quick. Of course, Christoval recently, their program is definitely on the up. What do you expect for that baseball program in the next 2 to 5 years?
Well, I'm just going to this breaking news. Our assistant coach, Cody Ashley, he's a great guy. I turned it over to him this year after this season. I'm going to help him out. He's been the head coach at Waco Conley. He's been with Christoval for a couple years now. He's very knowledgeable in what he does, and he has a real big passion for baseball. And I'm just proud of the fact that I got to start that program and get it going and build its success. And I have no doubt that he's going to continue that, and it's just going to get better. We have great community support. We had actually a fundraiser last weekend for baseball and softball out in Christoval at Cooper's Barbecue, and raised $95,000.
Jeez.
Oh, wow. That's awesome, Coach.
So the community's involved in anything we want to do. And I'm excited about what our baseball and softball program is going to be like in the future.
See, folks, that's why you watch Cover1, because you get breaking news right there.
When does that new when do those new diamonds open up? I've seen pictures that they're getting pretty close out there. I thought.
Oh, we're playing. Like I said, we played on the base. This is our second year on our baseball field, and they'll play softball next year. You got to go see that thing.
All right,
it's
we'll be out there.
Yeah, we definitely will. Okay, and Coach, I'll give you a final thought. Just get people excited to see some Christoval Cougar football action this year.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Gonna see a little new look on offense, little different stuff on defense and stuff like that. Like I said, we're excited about football. I'm excited about football year round. So, and our kids are too. So I'm looking forward to, got about 30 days left till we get started.
All right. There you go, football guy. Loving on his football guys underneath him. There you go. All right, Coach, we really thank you for coming on the show. And, of course, this has been the Cover1 Tour across the Concho Valley. You can catch us every Friday. We've had a lot of coaches on here, but this has been head coach of the Christoval Cougars, Casey Otho. Coach, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All right, back to you
Thank
guys.
you.